Yeah. So yeah, actually, before we were talking, one new thing that I learned about you because we were talking about headphones is you're deaf in 1 year.
Yes, I'm like 95% deaf on my right ear.
On your wow. So
Yeah.
how does that kind of affect your day to day?
Um, I think now that I'm a little bit older,
Mm,
it doesn't affect me as much.
mm,
But the times where I'm like really like it's really sensitive is like when I'm in a large or loud place.
mm,
So when people try to whisper in my ear, I have
mm,
to kind of do a 180 turn,
mm.
and then they get all confused, and I have to explain the whole story of what happened. But besides that, it doesn't affect me too much day to day.
Mm,
Um, yeah, usually when people try to speak softly,
mm,
I have to kind of ask them to, repeat themselves. Actually,
mm.
I've had multiple times people got upset at me because they're like, "Why don't you listen to what I'm saying?" And I'm like, "I'm
Wow.
trying. I just can't hear what you're saying."
Right, right, right.
And so then later they feel bad.
Uh,
But besides that, it's not too much.
so when someone whispers into your right ear,
Hmm.
can you hear that someone is whispering to you or?
Yeah, I hear just like noise. It's like muffled noise.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but if you go low enough, because people have tried to be like, "Hey, can you hear me?" And like they'll go lower and lower.
Uh-huh.
At one point, I won't be able to hear anything.
Huh, interesting. Yeah. I actually have a coworker
Hmm.
who's a principal. He's
Hmm.
like higher up in my company, but he is like that too.
Hmm.
But he's completely deaf in 1 year.
Oh wow.
So there have been times where we're in a meeting
Hmm.
and I'll turn to him and I'll like say something into his ear, and he's just typing away.
Yeah.
And
It
I'm like,
looks
oh
like you're
yeah,
being ignored or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's just we really don't know what you're saying. We can't hear you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I even tried getting like a hearing aid,
Uh huh.
but those things cost a lot of money.
Uh.
Yeah, it was like 10,000, 12,000.
Wow.
And that was only because I was in high school. But it gets more expensive because your hearing gets worse.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you want like the cool ones where it doesn't bulge out,
Uh-huh.
they cost like over like 20,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Even with insurance, it's still expensive.
So like the $10,000 ones, do they have like antennas sticking out and like
It
the
just
whole,
literally
like,
wraps around your ear, so it
uh,
looks like a headphone.
oh wow.
And then I've had times because I used to have it in middle school,
Hmm.
and then people would be like, "Oh, are you listening to music or something?" And I've had
Yeah.
teachers who actually like questioned what that was because they'd
Mm.
never seen a hearing aid before,
Right.
and so it gets a little bit uncomfortable. It does make you kind of stand out a little bit
Mm.
because people like stare at it
Mm.
and they try to like play with it, but it's like
Wow.
don't play with it. It's a hearing aid.
Yeah,
But because of that, I did take off the hearing aid.
yeah.
It did affect a little bit of my school, so I had to go sit closer to the front of the class,
Mm.
and things like that.
When did you find that out?
I think it was like third grade when
Wow.
like in elementary school they
Yeah.
do like a yearly like eye exam,
Uh-huh.
hearing exam. Yeah, so like I sat there and I was doing the hearing exam, and then the proctor or the person was like, "Hey, are you playing around?" Because I wouldn't raise my
Mm.
hand for the right side,
Right.
and then they did it again, and they're like, "Hey, I think you should go to a real hospital."
Wow.
So when we went to CHOA, the Children Healthcare Atlanta,
Yeah.
and we did an official like hearing test,
Mhm.
and then they're like, "Oh yeah, you're like 95% hearing gone."
Wow.
Yeah, and so then they led to the program of like hearing aid. We weren't financially like in a place to afford one, so
Mhm.
they was really helpful in providing like the financial aid and even like
Wow.
paying up to like 18, 19.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it
So,
was really really beneficial. Yeah.
and so you don't know how it happened then, huh?
No, they have no idea. They think it could be from birth. Maybe I just
Oh
didn't know what it
wow.
was,
Uh-huh.
or they think like there were incidents where I got hurt.
Mm.
I got hit in the baseball once in the nose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like kindergarten, and then it literally shifted my bone. And
Wow.
then they were thinking like it's possibly connected because like your nose and your ears are connected, or I was sick a lot when I was young,
Mm.
and so they it's very highly possible that you could get sick, and it could affect like hearing
Right.
loss and stuff like
Right,
that.
because like inner ear infection and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. Wow.
So
Wow.
they really don't know.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it is.
I guess the technology was different back then, but
Mm-hmm.
when my daughter was born,
Mm-hmm.
when she was like 3 days old, they did hearing tests.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They like I don't know how they measure it, but they
Right.
put something in her ear,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even know if babies react to it or not. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so. I wonder if they had those tests back in the day, like
Maybe.
To,
Yeah. I mean, I was also born in Korea, so I don't know if tech then or there and here was the same
Right,
even
right.
back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So, that was just an interesting thing that, you know, so your Pastor Joe,
Yes.
at Han Vision, he actually had a conversation with him the other day. He was saying, "Oh, you know, keep doing your podcast thing because you're bringing people together in Atlanta." And I kind of laughed, like, "Oh, that's a funny joke."
Yeah.
But he was like, "No, seriously, like people who like know people on your podcast, but don't really know them super well. Like they're finding out things about them that they've never really known, and they're like getting closer because of that." So when you told me about the deafness,
Yeah.
I just wasn't aware how many people around you knew that.
Right.
And I'm hoping that like your friends who don't know
Oh
will
my
hear
gosh.
this and they'll be like, "I never knew
Yeah.
this."
Well, they should
And-
know because I've told multiple times.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least now, like when if someone hears this podcast and they see you, they won't try to whisper in your right ear.
Or they might just do it to joke
Just to
around.
test,
'Cause I have a lot of friends who do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.